Team time with Melvis Touch, make some noise! Yes, hello ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to Time with Melvis Touch, where we delve into the most pressing issues of our time and where we shed more light on the intricacies of our global society using nuanced discussions and thoughtful analysis. And that's not all. We spot out pace setters, trend setters, successful people, and people with remarkable grass-to-grace stories that will inspire you and I to dream again. Put your hands together. And ladies and gentlemen, before we start this episode, we do agree that there is danger in listening to a one-sided story. That is why the platform is open for everyone who feels that their story has not been well told, their voice has not been heard, or that they have been bullied into silence. You can reach out to us through the numbers that will be communicated at the end of this show. And today, ladies and gentlemen, in the light of inspiring ourselves, we come face to face with greatness, with power, and with royalty. Today, we are honored to meet a woman who is shattering glass ceilings and rewriting the rules. She is breaking the patriarchal norms that places men at the helm of leadership, thereby proving that women can lead and rule with power and grace. She is queen, but we're going to get to that. But first, she is, amongst other things, an A-list Cameroonian musician who's performed in some of the biggest stages worldwide. We're talking America, we're talking Europe, we're talking Africa, we're talking Asia. She's a singer, a songwriter, a model, a stylist, and an entrepreneur with multiple businesses to her credit. She is founder of the Haira Foundation that empowers young women within Cameroon and CEO of the Haira Global Network. This polyglot extraordinaire speaks at least 5 languages, including English, French, Spanish, Italian, and lots more. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, just as I am ready, with a standing ovation, of course, let us put our hands together as we welcome the queen of the Tikare tribes of Cameroon, Queen Haira Berilie. Hey! So how do I address you now?
It's a lot. The way you feel comfortable, which either ways, either you say Sa Majesty or the woman, king or queen. Which one vocabulary feels more comfortable for you to pronounce? So I really don't mind.
Yes, but we're going to talk about everything and even talk about you becoming lots of things and becoming queen. But I want to know how is the dynamic now? Is it comfortable? Is there a lot, being a star and now being royalty? Is it easy to blend that as
I think I'm kind of in a dilemma because everything is a contrast. Being a queen is, in the Tikare tradition, queens and kings are considered very sacred personalities.
Yep.
And it requires a lot of rules, a lot of don't do's, restrictions and discretion. However, being an artist is a lot of exposure and proximity with the people and the audience and stuff. And being an entrepreneur is another world. So I'm caught between 3 different worlds that don't really match at all. So I'm trying. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I look forward to the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about life as a young girl.
Okay.
You mentioned that you had a very challenging beginning, and we want to know that, and also know how that young girl who struggled would navigate herself to becoming a top businesswoman.
Yeah.
Then before we can talk about becoming queen.
Being born into a polygamous family was a nightmare because my mother died when I was very little. I was 7 years old, and I was forced to live with my stepmothers who were very, very evil, and they didn't want to, they didn't want me around my dad. And my dad was a very busy man because he was, I think I'm just a copy of my dad. He was also a businessman. He was a strong spiritualist, and he was a religious person. At the same time, he was an artist. So he was like busy doing his stuff, and with more than 8 wives. And I am the daughter of the first wife who just died. So it was very, very difficult. Even at school, I had no friends. And my friends or the other kids in the community would see me as Mami Wata. Like when I step in the hall, they would run away. Or even some women, when they see me, they would either take the soil and then,
Hit you with it.
Yeah, hit it. Or some of them would spit, or some of them would run away. And this was very traumatic for me as a young girl because I was almost forced to believe that I am Mami Wata. And then my grandmother was just another nightmare because, you know, no mother to run to. My father's busy. And then I go to my grandmother like, Grandma, people are saying that I'm evil, I belong to some other world, or I'm some Mami Wata. So I'm scared because I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just a baby. And my grandmother would take me to some other places. And she would make as if she wants to help me. And at the end of the day, she confirms to everybody, like, oh, yeah, the news is true. She is evil. Run away. Don't let her be. She can't be friends with any of your kids. She can't visit your home. So even at school, it was chaos, even in the market. So it was really difficult until the Anglophone crisis started. And before that, I came to Yaounde, and I was living, I think it was with my father's girlfriend or something. And she was also not good to me. But she trained me on house chores, so I was very good at house cleaning, homekeeping. So when the crisis started and it became unsafe in the Northwest, I decided to come back to Yaounde. And when I came back, the only thing I could do so well, I was so good at housekeeping. So I was a house girl, like they say. And from there, one day, the beatings was too much. The rape was like too much. So yeah, because each time my mother or whatever, my master would when I do a mistake and she wants to beat me up, she would take off my clothes. And when she took off my clothes, her brothers were there, people were watching, and yeah, this was very traumatic. So one day when she wanted to beat me up, I said enough is enough. I ran away, and that's how I ended up in the streets of Yaoundé. And I wanted to go back to Bamenda, but I didn't have money for transport. So I wanted to trek, which I don't even know if Bamenda is left or right or how will you. Yaoundé is so big. And that time I could not even speak French. And my English was like really bad because I was more versed with my dialect and Arabic. So communication was a big problem. And I was on the streets for the longest of time until one day I met someone that spoke my dialect. And then they took me in, and that's how I finished the academic year, and then I was sent back to the village.
Wow.
So that's my childhood. And being assisting my mom, because my mom was a cook. She had a restaurant in the village, but you know, village restaurant is not the same like in the city, because she would do local stuff like fufu, like arrow and stuff. So when I came to Yaoundé and hustling, I started food. And food at the same time schooling. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to become a better person. I wanted to be able to read and write my name. So I was doing food at the same time. I was working still as a housemaid. And at the same time, it was a lot. Then I learned, I became a TV host because I had a lot of passion for media and journalism and stuff. And then I became a model. I started modeling, like people would call if they had fashion shows. Since I was kind of pretty, I would wear stuff and it looked good on me, so they would give me sometimes transport. And for me, I know it was exposure, so I did modeling too. And I also learned. I can just watch with my eyes, and then
Yeah.
it's like
You're a
there's
fast
a
learner.
hard disk drive in here. So when I see something, I'm a fast learner, like you said. So I became a hairstylist. I became a lot. Like if I want to do my CV, I haven't really been able to like put together my CV because when I start talking about my CV and my professional experience, it's a lot. It's long, yeah.
Plenty pages.
And today, there was Gremlin, there was Haira Beauty, and there was Haira Restaurant in Bastos. And then there's Dinero today.
Yes, we're filming live
Yeah.
at one of her spots here
Yeah.
at the heart of Yaoundé. So let's, before we even go to any other thing, my queen, I'd like us to, why do you think they addressed you as Mami Wata? Was it because of your beauty, or was there a story behind that? Did they just hate you?
Okay, I'm going to shock you again because knowing that my father is a big spiritualist, in other words, Marabu, I'm proud to say it today because that's what I've become. So I would run to my dad for help, and my dad would do nothing. Sometimes when I was like sleeping at night, and at a certain hour, I would always have visit from strange people. And that was very scary to me. But they and in the Quran, you have verses that if you feel like you're in danger, You can read this verse from the Quran and then the danger will go away, or like the Bible. But when I read these verses, they don't go away. They're still there. So it means they're not there to hurt me. So what are they doing with me? I'll tell my dad this and then he would just laugh. So it means he knew that.
That was your making.
Yes, that was my making. That was the process. So maybe these people in the village who called me Mami Wata, they just didn't understand what I was. That's why they would term it. And the Mami Wata that they said was evil. So it had nothing to do with evil. It had nothing to do with darkness. But they could see a strange force in me that is unexplicable, supernatural, like you said. So that's why they said so. Maybe they were correct.
Yeah.
But it was very traumatic for me because I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I was scared. And today, the fear is gone.
Yeah. Let's talk about healing.
Yes.
First, I want to know, how did they reconcile who you were to loving you? We're going to talk about you becoming queen.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about how they reconciled the fact that, okay, you were not an ordinary child, and then they loved you to the point where they're accepting you as queen. What happened?
Okay, being queen is another whole different story because I am queen of Tikare. And Tikare is the ancestors of a lot of ethnic groups. So we are the roots of so many tribes in Cameroon that originated from Tikare. The Grassfield, the West region, the Adamawa, even to Nigeria. So I've become the mother or the root of all
the whole ethnicity.
Voila.
Yes.
So Northwest, traditionally speaking, they're supposed to call me mother. So it's not just my queenship or my kingship is not limited to the Tikare. It extends to all the other tribes that originated from Tikare, because some people from Tikare say I'm the reincarnation of our creator who was a woman, and that's why women can be king, because she was a woman and she was a princess and she's the founder of the Tikare people, and her children out of dispute, everyone wants to be king. That's how they started living with their army and forming the different Charians, the Gonsors, and the rest. So it's very possible. Yeah. Then father's gone, mom is gone, and then I'm somewhere in the USA and I'm having like the life of my dreams. I'm living my best life. The suffering is over. I'm no longer on the street. I'm a superstar now. I'm doing like big concerts in Hollywood. And one day I'm like, I'm faded. I want to go back. And not like I want to go back. The same kind of, spiritual trauma. I thought I was hallucinating because I could barely sleep. I could hear people calling me to go back.
Exactly. Something was calling you home.
So, but I'm asking, which home are you even calling me to go back to? I have no more home because Bamenda is the way it is today. And if it's for me to go back to my village and do where I come from, I'm sorry to say it, there's a part of me that really hates Ndu because of the bad experience. All I have from that place is bad memories. So I really don't see myself going back there. I haven't completely healed. So when they're telling me to go back to the village, which village are you like? I'm asking the spirits, and what are you talking about? Where is this? Because there's no one there to welcome me. Everyone is dead. But they kept on showing me a large people. There was a lot of people. It was different kinds of people, and they were calling me queen, and they were happy to see me, and they were celebrating me. But I know it's impossible for people from Ndu to celebrate me because they hate me. So which village actually? And then I started thinking of my grandmother. The grandmother of my grandmother used to tell me that her great grandmother was Tikare, and that I am Tikare queen. She said it. And then when I asked a lot of questions, she would just go mute. She don't want to talk more about it. My grandfather would talk about Tikare. So in my mind, I was thinking that if they're talking about Tikare like a long thing, maybe it should be like over a long time ago. It cannot be existing like today, because I even told her one day I wanted to go there, and she said, no, babies don't go there. It's very far. It's just like when they say Jerusalem, where Jesus was born. In our limited minds, we think of Jerusalem like being in heaven or
natural place,
somewhere that doesn't exist. But however, you go to Europe or Rome, you see Jerusalem. So it's somewhere you can actually go to. That is how we foresee Tikare, where we originated from, to be like some space, some place that exists in another planet. So I did a song called Tikare. And that song was intended to I just wanted to honor my ancestors. I didn't want people to forget that Tikare were warriors. Tikare are great people. Tikare fought the wars and they won because they were united. Just reminding you of the unity that made our strength. So, but it was just like a personal thing for me. I didn't know about Tikare. So when the song was out a few days ago or a few days later, I wake up one morning and I go to YouTube and I see 100,000 views. And I'm like, hell no. How is this possible? Where are these views coming from? And I look at the comments, and the comments are in French. And this was kind of not really usual, because if it was talking about the Tikare that I know, who are Wimbomo people from the Northwest, it should be in English. It cannot be in French. Then suddenly I received messages, a lot of messages. And then I pick one of the messages, and it's a guy. He tells me he is Tikare and he's my brother. So I have honored them, and all they want to do is see me. Like, there are a lot of people that just want to set their eyes on me. And that Tikare, and oh, really? Till Tikare is real. Like, it's not some Jerusalem in heaven. He said, yeah. Then I told my manager that I found my people and they want to see me. And he said, no, it's not safe. You can't just go there. Do you like have direct family there? I said, no. Where are you going to sleep? Do you even know where it is? I said, no. So, but I was very excited to go and finally, you know, set foot on the line of my ancestors. And I was like, maybe that's what I was seeing in my dream, but no, I'm just hallucinating. I'm trying to, you know, because even when you talk to someone about the things that exist in the spiritual world, it doesn't make sense. Not everybody believes in spirituality. Like, you can just sit and see stuff and it actually happens in real life. So I did my bags and I went to Bankim. And when I got to Bankim, that's where our mother is buried. That's where our founder, our creator is buried. The moment I walked into the yard of the palace, and there were a lot of people, it's as if they were waiting for me or something. And when I got there, the energy I felt was very different. And these same people I saw when I was in the US, I saw them there.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of them. Maybe physically you could see few people, but spiritually there were a lot of people telling me, welcome home. And that's how I did the song, Welcome Home, even before getting there. So the energy was different. And the feeling, I was crying the whole time. And then everything went well, and they told me that Tikare is not just in Bankim, it's also in Matba. And so yeah, when I got there, and they said, one of the kings, the kingmakers said, you guys think it's the artist. She's not just an artist. This is our mother. I don't know why you can't see it.
So you actually didn't go there to be crowned queen?
No, I did. I had no idea I was queen.
You just went there because you made a song.
Yeah.
And you saw that a lot of people were reacting, and you were like, let me go and see these people.
Let me go see. And they said I should come. They want to see me for the song. They themselves, they didn't know it was me. Because this is a throne or something that is been vacant for over 100 years. No one can't even remember which year exactly.
So this is a paradigm shift in the Tikare culture.
Kind of, sort of. So they said, you think it's an artist? She's not just an artist. This is our mother. And then my going there completely turned from being a visit of an artist to a traditional ritual and festival.
Spiritual journey. We watched you vlog about it on your page, and it was endless and beautiful.
Yeah.
I do think this is something that deserves more exposure. I don't know who is watching and who thinks that this should be seen internationally, because have any of you visited her page? It's something that I have never seen in any African culture before. And you speak about it with so much passion. You smile about it. There's so much depth in your reactions when you talk about it.
Yeah.
How was that journey for you? We saw lots of initiations into many traditional societies. Tell us about that journey.
It was very, I can say it's the birth of a new Haira, because before I feel very different. This is not me that existed a few months ago or a few years ago. So getting into a space where I truly belong, like I'm home and I'm on the throne, and I can easily be who I am with people loving who I am, not people criticizing, not people who would say it's Mami Wata, people who say, yeah, this is our mother, people who actually believe that seeing me is a solution to a lot of problems, people who are happy, sad faces who, you know, suddenly become happy. People are blessed by my presence. So the initiation was a little bit scary to the people that know me, because they would research about the tradition and the Bamilikes and the Bamuns and stuff. They know how it works, and they are the descendants of Tikare. So imagine that we are doing all this ritual at the source, the roots. It means that it's more intense. So some people thought I was going to die inside if I am not really their mother, or if it's a mistake. You won't go there and come out alive, because it was like a journey to the other side, living with my ancestors. Night, I didn't even know when it was night or day. I was just there. It's a different world, different from where we are. So it's like journey there. And then the village is waiting to see if you actually going to come out or
alive.
not. And then the moment I come out alive, everyone is happy. And it's a celebration. And it was, oh my God, I can't even explain. Like, there's a lot I want to say, but I lack the words to say it. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the African tradition, because our ancestors, our forefathers fought. They died for the tradition.
Yes.
They fought battles, and they would do anything to protect who they were. And they did everything to create a path for their descendants, us today. And a lot of people would see it as witchcraft or sorcery. And this breaks their heart, because this is how they live.
Who they are.
So this is who they are. And they would want their descendants to be like them.
Yes.
So they're happy. And it's so beautiful to live the way your ancestors lived. I'm not perfect, because I'm still human and very modern. My mindset is very different, being an artist and all this, all what I've been through, the experiences and the passions. But I'm trying my best to make sure that when you look at me, you see my ancestors, to make them happy and keep making them more proud, so it can be an example to those that are... Yeah.
Yeah, so I did follow you. I follow you on your page, and I follow the documentaries. And you mentioned at one point about your tattoos.
Yes.
You said you just you made them just randomly, but when you got to the village, you realized that every tattoo on your body signified something in your village.
Yeah, a traumatized child that I am. Before, I didn't have the music. I just had myself, and maybe, I was depressed at a point where I could see myself talking to myself. So tattoos was to me a form of,
therapy.
letting out. And when I got the music, so when I have something in my head, like it keeps coming and coming and coming, don't be scared when I'm talking about coming and coming. I'm talking about giant snakes and stuff, very unusual kind of snakes that will come to me, and I'm like, I don't understand. That's why I'm happy, because now I understand, but before I did not understand. So I would put a snake on my body. Like, I have this tattoo here, but it's bigger than even me. The size is very big, but I can't put like the big. So I just try to describe to my artist, like, okay, I want you to put, this is what I see. Just make a picture of it in my body. And then it became artistic as an artist. A singer, when I show up on stage, internationally, tattoos are like, oh, wow. There are people who would tattoo even their face. It's a culture in out of Africa. So it was very sexy. But I didn't know it had something to do with tradition. So the day I got to Tikare, and all these chefferies and kingdoms and palaces that I visited, at the entrance of every palace was a tattoo that I have on my body. I have a lot of them. Every single tattoo on my body is found somewhere in a chefferie at the entrance, or even signs, the rituals. Even when we went to the initiation process, I could see this. This is like one of the biggest instruments that we use in tradition to invoke the spirits. And when the spirits hear the sound of this, they show up. So this is like a way to call the spirits. And so how do I have it on my body? Come on. I even have this one that people think it's from Masonry or whatever. It's not. It's an Egyptian eye. And we originated from Egypt. And since we had a lot of attacks, I heard from what they tell me that this was on top of the Commandi border coming. So this would watch over the village. In case there's attack coming, it would already signal mystically, not
at the
like
entrance of the village.
So I have it on my body. Why do I have it? And then I also have this one. This is many years ago. I carried this a long time ago. And our queen, our creator, they said she had this too. And when they are initiating warriors, because our village, since we are, Tikare means guerrier. Guerrier means war. So we are fighters. And this is a symbol for you to be fully initiated as a guerrier Tikare. You have this on your arm. So you will fight. That's the power of the Tikare. And this is the symbol of the power. I now have it like so many years ago, and I carry it. There are a lot more tattoos. So when I was seeing these tattoos, I kept on crying. I was so emotional, you know, because I could not believe it. It's too much of a coincidence.
Yes.
And some of the people that could see, or those that have 4 eyes, or those who see beyond the physical, were so happy, and most of them were also crying because of emotions, and like, wow, she's real. Like, she actually came back. They thought the mother was gone and gone forever, but you know, because we believe that we all lived before, and when we die, we're going to come back and live through, and live through our descendants. Yeah. So, but when something is vacant, and when the chapeau is la, the chair is there, they told me for so many years, even our kings, they said each time there was a ceremony at one of the palaces where I'm the woman king, my seat was always empty. Like, ever since some of the kings were born, they've seen that seat empty, but they will put it at least. So it's just there, empty. Who's supposed to sit there? They're waiting for her to come, and they're like, maybe I was never going to come. And finally I come, and yeah.
This is definitely very interesting, and I'm sure we have a lot of questions that I'll be trying to ask as many as I can.
Okay.
But if we keep talking, we might talk to you tomorrow. But briefly, my queen, let us talk about, how did they get to know that you are the missing queen? Is it because of maybe relationship, where you were born, who you were from childbirth, or...
I don't even think they knew about the childbirth or whatever. The moment the ancestors said, that's her, everybody, the kings would say, yes, that's our mother.
So that happened when you got there?
Yes, when I got there. The moment they saw me, that's when that came up. It was not planned. But it's not something that they created because I was there. It's something that existed.
That's been vacant for a long time.
And it's been vacant, and it's been there for like forever. So and if the ancestors decide, the people would just execute the notables. My best friends today are the chiefs, the funds, the kings, the kingmakers, even the queens, and everyone that is in love with the tradition is my best friend. So when I got there and they said, that's her, and the ancestors said yes, the kings said yes, the population. But there were a few resistance because they were scared. And they kind of tried to sabotage the coronation because they went back to my past before. When I was towards the end of, my folie, I did Yafe. And Yafe was very spectacular because I was like really, really,
Yes.
I was hot.
Yes.
And
let's have those images.
And this was a problem to a lot of Cameroonians who are not used to having such. I was too hot for the Cameroon audience at Yafe. So I had people, some say it's naked, but I was not naked. I say it again. I had something on, but it looks like my body. So that actually gives you a feeling that I'm naked. But I really let you think that I was naked. So these people that were criticizing, they went back and dig all those images. And then they printed them and they sent to all the kings and the chiefs of Tikare saying, you say it's your mother. Look at how she was in front of the audience, I look at all this. And they said, even if she is naked, that is our mother. And they would try to link it back to our real mother, who I reincarnated, whose blood runs in me. She walked around without even bra.
Yeah. I think
she was the sexiest woman in the world. And she was proud of her body. Perfect or not, we don't know because we don't have an exact picture, but we have a statue of her. And on this statue, she's not wearing bra. She's there and she's proud. So they're like, okay, yeah, if that's how she used to do, then this is just a confirmation that it's actually her.
Well, that brings me to something very interesting, my queen.
Yes.
Your style.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about your outfits.
Okay.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about your music.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even your career. Your music is a mix of sometimes makossa, sometimes jazz,
Yeah.
sometimes soul. You
Yeah.
mix a whole lot of things. It's the same thing with how you dress. It's, I wouldn't say controversial. I would say really.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of too many things put together, and would like to know how you manage to reconcile that creative procedure and how you can blend so many things together in your music and in your
You know,
style.
I love Cameroon so much. I love Africa. And I look at Michael Jackson, I look at Beyonce, I look at Whitney Houston, I look at Miriam Makeba, and these are great names from Africa. And I don't just want to be an artist for Cameroon or an artist for Tikare or
Yes.
for Africa. I want to be a world artist
Yes.
so that the world can celebrate the arts and the beauty in our music. So that's why I try as much as possible to diversify not just the style of music, but even my style of dressing, the
Yes.
way I talk, the language, the different languages. So wherever I find myself, wherever in the world, I have something that matches with the culture of that place. So I can do that with limiting to just one style of music. You would see reggaeton, you would listen to Haira with R&B,
Yes.
jazz, blues, reggae, there's traditional, Cameroon traditional music. There is, it's just a lot, even Arabic kind of music. So all this is to make sure that we conquer. We are there to take over the industry.
And that everybody identifies with your
Yes,
art.
exactly. So I can want to take over the industry and get the Grammys for Cameroon and limit to just one kind of music. So we have to go there in case whoever is in front of us, they be convinced that yes,
Yeah.
this is real talent from Africa. This
Oh
is talent
yes,
from
please,
Cameroon.
can you clap for that? Can you clap for that? That's also, is that you speak at least 5 languages?
Yes.
Tell us about how you get to learn at this young. How did you get to learn so many languages at the same time?
Okay. Before when I started developing interest in TV hosting, I wanted to, because there are a lot of TV hosts in Cameroon and the competition is so high. There are a lot of girls who went to journalism school. I am not as educated as them. So how do I stand out? I stand out by the way I talk. So I went hard on the American English. I said that my English has to be American. At the same time, I have to learn other languages in case,
Yes.
we have different audience, so other people can listen to the music. And what it really helped me too was the traveling, because at the moment I got to a country whose language is different from the English or the French, I take the first few days or the first few weeks to learn their language. I'm not like perfect in these languages, but I have a base and I can
Yes.
have a conversation without having a lot of problems. So I can speak Arabic, which was my first language before English and French, first foreign language. And I can speak Spanish, I can speak Italian and Portuguese. I speak even
Wow.
Hindi, even Urdu, a lot of languages because I travel to all these places. And when I get there, boom, the first thing is their language. And I use it for the TV thing. I use it for the music. I use it even for the restaurant. In Dinero, sometimes we have these different nationals that come here to, have fun or discover. And then when they get here and they're trying to and I can speak their language, oh my God, we find someone in Cameroon who can speak our language. This is so good and it feels good. For my personal development, it's really...
And for networking too.
For networking, yeah. And for the music, so yeah.
So we're going to ask one last question from your fans.
Okay.
It's a question we got from them. But before that, we wanted to check if there's anyone in the audience who has a question for Queen Haira. Yes.
Okay, first of all, I don't know if I should be apologizing because when I saw you, I was like, hi, Haira, but I know you no longer Haira, it's now Sa Majesté.
Yeah.
I probably should have hugged you more earlier, now we can't touch you. My question is, we know your music. I personally have followed you for a couple of years now. I discovered your music through somebody's status and I've come here a couple of times and I've watched you being coronated and all of that. Are we still gonna get the music? Like, are we now just gonna see Sa Majesté, or are we still gonna get the sexy artists that we know, or is that gone? That's my question. And I know they've asked this on Facebook, but I don't know what the response was. Yeah.
The thing is, traditionalists, my ancestors really don't have a problem with the music. The spirits that live inside of me or that live within me or with me don't have a problem with the music. However, the people have a problem because it's kind of since I came back, I haven't really been on stage. I'm afraid to be on stage because not to ruin the stage or ruin the people around me. So we are still trying to figure out how to do the both at the same time. But I'm thinking that maybe if it's time for me to be Her Majesty, I will be Her Majesty without mixing the music. That's why I was supposed to perform on this show.
Yes.
But if Melvin wanted more of the majesty. If you wanted more of the artist, I should have taken all of this away and just come as the artist. So I think
it's either one.
Yes, it's either one at a time. The two can go together.
Yes.
Because being the majesty on stage and people hugging you, it's very dangerous.
But I do think we made the right choice, right? We had to hear this story.
Yeah, but if I was coming as the artist, it would have nothing to do with the way I look now. Maybe I could still look into the Yafe look and a little bit. Then now the people, a lot of judgments online. It's there, especially other tribes. The Tikares don't really have a problem. The people are finding it difficult to accept or to see their queen or their woman king being seen on stage, being watched by people, because people are not, they're not supposed to see me like that.
Yeah.
So I'm something sacred that should be kept somewhere in the palace or in some museum for people to come consult. So like in the past, we were like demigods because you represent your ancestors on earth. So if it's just like the Catholics would say, if you want to get to Jesus,
yes, you're
you
like
get
the interface between the
yeah,
living and
Mother
spiritual.
Mary.
Yeah.
So imagine Mother Mary with a microphone performing. The Christians will go crazy. They wouldn't accept that.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm trying to figure out, but I think the best option would be to go once at a time. If it's the artist, then the artist. And immediately after the show is over, I'll go back to being Her Majesty, because now Her Majesty has dominated the artist. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does.
Her Majesty, you look so good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, with all this beauty, with all this charisma, I just have a single question.
I can imagine what the question
Yes.
is. Marriage, right?
Yeah.
And that was the question from your fans.
Yeah.
So let's just have it.
How is it going? Are you getting suitors? Are you really going to be loved and get married?
You know, that question pops up like all the time for the past few months that I've been Majesty. And it gets me to understand why I am still single up till now. Because it would take a strong physical, spiritual, and even financial man to be with Her Majesty. So, and it should be someone who's mentally ready. I tried, but it didn't really work when I just came back. So the marriage thing is very complicated. Because if the man that is with me is not really, you can't be with Majesty and then you want to still look around. It's going to be very disastrous, because the Tikare spirits are very jealous. So they want their queen or their comment on dit, celle qui les représente, to be taken serious. So imagine I have a boyfriend. It means it's like you can't go nowhere again. Yeah, so you should be really sure that this is what you want, because the moment you get in a relationship with me, there's no turning back. That's one. And then the second one is it should be someone that would respect the code. Because there are times that, spiritual times, they don't really care if you're my husband. So you have to like let the spirits have their time with Her Majesty. And there are very few men will be able to understand that. Imagine maybe he wants to maybe have sex, and these are days that I cannot have sex, and he cannot have sex with another woman. However, it will be easier if I marry someone that is a king, Yeah, or someone with royal blood, that will be easier. But if it's just maybe a foreigner or someone that is not of the Tikare tradition, it will be very complicated. So for now, I'm taking all my time. I haven't had sex for like a year now. Yeah. So I'm still waiting to find that person that would have the
Yeah.
energy to say, yeah, the courage to say, okay,
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay.
It's flashy, yeah, because she's pretty, she's attractive. A lot of men want it, but can you do it?
Can you afford it?
Yeah, can you afford it? Can you stand it?
Can you afford it?
So for now, let's just see what the ancestors have in
Yeah.
stock. Because I believe there's a plan. I'm not gonna stay like this forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look forward to that plan, and I'm excited. I look.
One question, and then we are going to pause this interview because we'll be having subsequent episodes with Her Majesty because there is a lot we have to get from her.
Okay.
But I want to know, you're very interested in the young girl.
Yes.
Yes, or mention your foundations and stuff like that. But I want to know now, we were mentioning that this is a paradigm shift in the African culture, in societies that are patriarchal, where they feel that the men should dominate. Now you have some level of power.
Yeah.
You have stability. You mentioned in one of your vlogs that if you stop working now, you have enough to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, my queen, what is, do you have any plans for maybe the young girls, maybe from Tikare? Are there any other extra things they should be expecting, considering now that there is a woman who is queen?
Yes. Even before being queen, especially when my father was assassinated, I thought like life is meaningless, and I would think that there are a lot more young girls like me who are going through similar stuff. That's why I created the Haira Foundation in 2018 when he died. So I've been doing a lot, not just because today charity or impact or empowerment is more like a show. I do it for myself, it's not the show. So I wouldn't, people are already miserable and going through a lot, and you bring cameras to make them tell their miserable story and feel more miserable. So I've been impacting over 400 girls, but I was working more with IDPs. Yeah. Maybe the next time that you invite me on your show, I can come with some of my girls so they can testify to what they were before and what they are today, that they worked with me. It's not like I changed their lives. I'm not God, but I impacted through training. Some of them, I even employed them in my different activities, like the saloon and the restaurants, and then but I would prefer them getting the skills and then going to be on their own.
Yes.
Because they're not going to serve me forever. I want them to be independent too financially. It's going to take time because it took time for me. It didn't just happen overnight. So the Haira Foundation has been empowering a lot of young girls, especially from the north and the southwest, even from the central. And now being in Tikare, I felt a great need because in Tikare, their education is not really a priority for the young girl. Like they just want to grow up and get married, and you see a girl at 16, she already has 2-3 kids. I want to try to stop that so I want them more to be like Haira, big business women doing their own thing and running their shit and deciding what's happening to their lives. So I would fix a date where we would like put together all the young girls from Tikare, and I think I have a lot of work to do with the mindset, and then try to maybe take some of them out of there so they can come to Yaounde and see how life is, because the Tikare is like a whole.
You want to make
stay
them
there,
dream.
yeah. They stay there forever. They born there, they grow up there, they get married there, they live there, they die there. So they haven't had the exposure to dream and know that it's possible to work and get a better life, So I think maybe, getting them out of there and trying to change their mindset through a lot of training can empower them, even financially. That's why I pray that I have a lot of finance, because before I said I had a lot to live my life till the end of my life without working, but that's not possible no more because responsibilities. I have 9 villages under my shoulders, and these 9 villages are looking up to me, including not just the ladies, even the men, even the old people, the young people, the women, the men. They're looking up to me. Like when there's a problem, a financial problem, they call me. and they cannot call me and I'm broke. So I can't be a broke queen. That's why I was supposed to even stay there, stay in one of the palaces and settle problems today. There's a couple problem, there's a land issue. Oh, like the last time one of our kings was telling me that the Fulanis cows went into some of our farms and they destroyed it, so I have to come and do something about it. And I'm like, okay, you need me in the village, but I gotta go out there and work so I can come back and make stuff better, because if I stay there, that ain't happening. And having a broke queen is very useless. Better I don't even have a queen at all. So now if I was working for like 10 hours a day, I think I have to work 20 hours a day or even more.
Wow.
Because there are a lot of responsibilities and people to take care of in the village. And now my association, I even take care of street kids in Yaounde. If you go on the streets, Bastos, Longkak, BMC don't have a lot of street kids, but there are a lot of them around Post Central. Those are my children.
And they know
I take good care of them. And their problem is my problem. Not like all problems, but they look up to me too. So this is a lot for me to be lazy. I cannot be lazy, and I cannot have a lazy man or a broke man. So one of the men coming should be financially, okay.
So I think any final words for a young girl
Yes.
who is hard like you were, and just has a dream and is hoping to be a great woman someday? What can you tell them? A girl who has gone through rape, a girl who has been abused, a girl who is a house help, a girl who is a hawker in the street, probably with no vision or no hope that life is going to improve for them. What can you tell them?
As long as there's life, there's hope. And everything starts here. If the mind can think it, then it can be realized. And the only way to make it happen is through hard work. I understood this a long time ago. That's why I have never sold my body for money. That's why I'm a self-made woman. Like everything I have today is not a
Work
lot.
for it. Oh.
There is no one franc that came from a man. Like this is something I built from scratch. With time, with patience, with discipline. So I want you to look at Haira today and say, if she did it, then I can do it. Even better.
Oh, yes. And that's why we keep having shows like this, where we empower people, where we counsel them, where we let people that you can look up to share their experiences and give you master stroke advice so that you can take and better your life. Queen Haira Berilie, Queen of the Tikare tribes of Cameroon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for honoring us and for coming to Time
Well,
with
thanking you
Melvis
for
Touch.
having me. Thank you so much.
And we look forward to having you another time.
And be blessed.
Thank you so much. Put your hands together. Yes, that was good. Thank you so much.